Welcome to A Canadian Investing in the U.S., a podcast and YouTube channel focused on Canadians buying real estate, with host Glenn Sutherland.
Welcome to another episode of A Canadian Investing in the U.S. This week, my special guest is Susan White Livermore. You know what, Susan? Give us a little intro about yourself.
All right. I work under the business of Millionaire Mom. I started as Liberty Property Solutions and just recently moved over to Millionaire Mom. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah. We talked about that strategy. What other strategies do you use for real estate investing? Do you use the BRRRR? Do you do flips?
Yeah, this is a BRRRR. So I'm using private sale in that.
Yep.
Sometimes I wholesale them. So you know what a wholesale is, right?
I do. Let's go into wholesaling.
I don't do a lot of them. It's painful for me to hand them over. But I have been doing a few of them lately because it keeps my feet in the game while I am writing this book or finishing up this book.
Yeah.
So you find a property at a discount, you sell it to another investor for a fee. That's what wholesaling is.
And so just to totally rip into wholesaling. So how are you finding these deals? Like, are you doing the flyers? Are you doing some email marketing or Facebook or what's your?
I am so old school.
Yep.
Old school works for me. I tried the fancy flyers. I've tried stuff online. And for me, what works the best is old school letters, handwritten. I'm open and honest with them. I'm not trying to tell them anything that is not true. I tell them who I am, how long I've lived there. Sometimes I talk about I'm raising my 3 kids here.
Yeah.
I tell them what I'm looking for. So usually I'm wanting to build legalized suites. So I want a property that is a semi-detached or single family house. I'm looking for a certain square footage. I want a certain amount of parking. I don't care what state it's in. And so I put little boxes beside each thing I'm looking for. And I learned in a training class that the more times you can get them to check, say, yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me, the higher the chance that they're going to give you a call. And I would find when I do send out my letters, I probably get, for every 1,000 letters, I probably buy within the 2-week period 1 or 2 properties, and then sometimes people will hold on to that, and I will get phone calls year and a half later.
That's awesome. So I just lost
hot pink paper. But hot pink is my thing. So it doesn't have to be hot pink. It could be yellow.
Yeah.
It should be bright though, and handwritten.
So you handwrite like a
handwrite it.
Yeah.
And then my assistant will take it to Staples or whatever and photocopy it onto the hot pink paper. They'll fold it for us so that it's the writing is on the outside, so that you can see that it's handwritten. And then we send it through the mail. So I choose streets, and my assistant will go to the post office, and you have to choose mail carriers.
Yep.
So you have to do their entire route. So I'll choose probably 2 different mail carriers, and they'll take them out and put them in the mailboxes for us.
So are they in envelopes, or they're just
No.
Okay, because I was going to say, what do you write on the outside? Like, to whom it concerns? But yeah, okay, gotcha. So you just write to them.
Yeah. And you pay. There's no stamp on it, so you just pay at the post office for the bundles.
That's interesting. Cool.
That's one of my favorite. But in 2007, when the market was crazy hot, private sales were really hard to come by because people know that they could put their house on the market and get multiple offers. So regardless of the state. So in 2017, I was buying through MLS, and it was about speed. The faster you could get to the property, make the offer, the greater the chance you had. But I was particular about what I was buying then too. I was only buying semi-detached back then because the single-family houses, the values were rising way too quickly. Now I can buy single-family houses. They've dropped a little in value, but surprisingly, the semi-detached have stayed the same price here in Barrie anyways.
So
or a little higher, to be honest.
So you said the speed to get there was important, but the property was in Calgary and you're in
No, no,
No.
no, no. This in
Oh, okay.
2017. I was back in Barrie buying.
Ah, okay. Sorry, I
I
misunderstood.
bought in Calgary in 2013, mostly 2013.
Cool. Okay. Let's talk about your best deal you've ever done. What's your best or favorite deal?
Favorite deal. Probably the one I told you about was my favorite
Oh, so I
deal. But
stole
you
it
know
already.
what? It's okay. You know what? Let me share a deal that I did a rent to own. The very first rent to own I ever did. This was, I had learned and learned and learned after 2008, 2009. Oh, I guess it was 2009.
Yeah.
I took all these courses. Prior to having knowledge, I had no problem jumping into the market. But once I had knowledge, I was scared to jump in the market. But finally, I had been telling people so much that I'm buying real estate and hadn't bought anything. I finally convinced myself to buy this property. So it was a rent to own. I didn't meet the tenants. And so, my previous career was in HR. So I was director of human resources for a natural health product company.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of interviewing, a lot to get knowing people, a lot of, where are you lying to me? A lot of character stuff, right? And I bought this rent to own deal, the tenant buyers, off of another client or another investor.
Yeah.
Bought a house, put them in it, then met the tenants.
So why would you skip that if that was your a strong point for yourself?
Oh, I was green. I was green.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. But I knew shortly after putting them in fact, I signed the paperwork, and I think that day I may have met the tenants, and I just got this bad feeling. And I remember I took my kids to a movie, and I couldn't tell you what the movie was because I spent the entire movie, oh my God, what did I just do? Oh my God, what did I just do?
Yeah.
So for a year and a half, maybe a little longer than that, it was fine. I was like, okay, what was I worried about? Initially I was like, oh, this stuff that's going to go wrong. And then all of a sudden they stopped paying. And I was like, oh, here we go. Here's the thing that I thought was going to happen. So they stopped paying. I started doing the landlord tenant board. I was getting to the point of going to the landlord, to a hearing. And I get a phone call. It was in the summertime, and I get a phone call from the neighbor of the house. And the neighbor said, do you own XYZ house? And I said, and we were just on our way to on vacation.
Yeah.
And I said, oh God, yes. They say, I think you need to come see the house. And I'm like, you can just feel the adrenaline going through your body. And I was like, there's no way I'm going on vacation. I can't go on vacation not knowing what this house. So I said to my husband, I'm like, I got to go see what's going on with this house. I was told that they left in the middle of the night, and they had left them the garage door opener, and they were sitting out on the porch thinking, this is really strange. So they decided to go in, and then they found my number and my information, and they warned me that the house was in bad shape. Well, gratefully, I got out there, and my experience has been with student properties. So I understand that a good can of paint, a good dumpster, and some great elbow grease can do a lot for a house.
Mm-hmm.
So I go into the property, and I'm having visions of, I don't know, just destroyed. But it looked like one of my student properties.
Yeah.
And the neighbor came in with us, and he's like, I'm so sorry. And he kept saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't tell you how relieved I was. I was like, oh, this is nothing. I can paint it. I can get a cleaner in here and clean it all up. I'll get a dumpster. It'll be fine. I was so grateful that the house wasn't to him it was destroyed, but to me I was like, this is nothing. And I was grateful that I didn't have to go through the landlord-tenant board. That I was going to have to work to get these people out. I ended up making on that house. I ended up renting it after the fact,
Yeah.
just putting in regular renters. I think I owned it for 5 years and maybe made well over $150,000.
Awesome.
So this property that I made a mistake on,
Yeah.
it was a huge learning curve for me, but I still landed so far ahead of the game. And it was just like, you can make a lot of mistakes in real estate and still make money. I think to fix it all up cost me maybe $3,000, but in the grand scheme of things, it was really nothing.
No.
And I mean, it's one of my favorite deals because it's a reminder that provided you're in the right market, you can make all these mistakes. You can put the wrong tenant in, and you can, I don't know, pick whatever.
Yeah.
Fill out the wrong paperwork, do something, whatever. But the market will fix it or help you along in the process. And I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was a reminder that, stop worrying and just know that you have the resources. And oftentimes it's never as bad as what's going on in your head. And that's why it's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
Because it was my first, it fell apart and I still made a ton of money.
This is such like a good, like, it's all mindset. It's whatever you make it of.
Yes.
You can ruin your, like, you went on vacation afterwards. Did you have a good vacation?
Yes!
Exactly.
I was fine after I knew what I was
Yeah.
But I needed to know that, like, they didn't rip the plumbing out, or they didn't, like, I had visions of them flooding the house, but it was none of that, right? And that is really worst case scenario. And those horror stories, they do happen, but I think they're a lot less than the amount of times we've heard them.
Yes.
Right? I'd say 98% of real estate investing, if done well, is super boring. Less than 1% are home runs, and less than 1% are complete disasters.
Yep. And I had a flooded basement in one of my properties, and it still wasn't that bad.
I put vinyl floor. I've had lots of floods.
Yeah.
I put vinyl flooring in. You fix the problem. The vinyl flooring is fine. You move on.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're focused on that negative stuff, what are you going to attract?
Negative stuff to yourself, right? What you send out, you're going to get back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you're going to see. That's all you're going to see, right? And if that's all you're seeing, then you're just attracting more of it.
What just popped into my head? You mentioned that you were going through the landlord-tenant board. I guess I am completely misled, but for doing lease app options in Ontario, or like rent-own in Ontario, I understood that you wouldn't need to use a landlord-tenant board because you're doing a lease or something rather than a rental.
You do too.
Okay.
I do too. When I do a lease.
Yep.
And then we also do a what do they call it? It's been so long that I've done them. Like the
contract for the property and all that.
Yes,
yeah, whatever it's called. Yeah.
They're two separate contracts.
Okay.
And you want to be able to use the landlord-tenant board because it's a heck of a lot cheaper than going to court.
That's a great tip, because I was under the impression not to do it the other way, so that you don't have to use the landlord-tenant board. But you know what? It works in your favor. Both ways. Yeah.
Truth be told, the cheapest way is money for keys.
Yep. That's what I've heard too. I haven't actually had to ever do money for keys, but I've been very close. Very close.
I've done it a few times.
Yeah.
For me, it's not worth the time, headache, energy, or just say, hey, we won't go through this process if you just move out by X amount of days.
Yep.
And I call them a come to Jesus talk.
Yeah.
This isn't working for either of us.
Yeah.
Let's come to some amicable agreement. And usually means it's not about being right. It's about getting what you want. And, I learned that the hard way with one of my tenants, that I was adamant that I was going to get justice. And the amount of time, energy, and money that I spent was exhausting. And it really told me that it's not about being right. It's about getting what you need. And you know what? The universe will take care of the rest.
Okay, Susan.
I know I'm all over the board on you.
No, I love it. Like, there's been so many good life lessons. I love these ones, and I really don't have very many of them at all. Like this type of show, so I love this. Anyway,
okay, good.
Let's wrap this up by pitching yourself. So I know, like, let's talk about coaching, what your websites, what you do. Let's do your stuff. What are you up to?
I should have a book out by June.
Mm-hmm.
So you will be able to find it you can find me on millionairemom.co, not C-O-M-C-O.
Yep.
You can find me on Instagram at millionaire_mom_enterprises. The same with Facebook. It's Millionaire Mom Enterprises. I am doing coaching. I'm doing one-on-one coaching right now until the book is actually out, and then there'll be group coaching or probably a course to follow the book. The book is actually right now, its tentative name is It's That Easy.
Yeah.
It really, really is. I think people think that investing in real estate is complicated and hard, and it's really not. It doesn't have to be. And it's that easy. Millionaire Mom's path to wealth in real estate investing in life. So you can get in touch with me to do some coaching. You can connect you can send me an email directly to asking about that, and I'll send you a form just to kind of see if it's a good fit, and then we do a quick phone call to talk about what your needs are. So you can reach me at susan@millionairemom.co, or there's a form you can fill out on the website as well, asking with regards to the coaching. That's about it for right now. I do joint venture partners. So there is that option as well, although that seems to be filling up really quickly. But if that is something you're interested, you can certainly get on my list. And you would do that either through the website or sending me an email direct. So you can get on my mailing list and get my newsletter and different opportunities that I might have coming up.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, I loved it. This is great. Thanks so much.
No problem. Take care.
Thanks.